No strings.
No strings.
No strings.
So to clarify, so long as there are no strings, you would be happy taking money from anyone.
The important thing is that if we are importing American scale or levels of philanthropy, that we're not also importing at the same time certain elements or aspects of American behavior concerning philanthropy to universities. Our universities' policies are made by our university officers, our vice chancellor in particular, our university council, not by boards of benefactors. Nor do we accept influence over admissions policies to colleges and any attempt being made to influence those by benefactors. We don't have that here. And we've got to be careful also about accepting money from individuals where there is a state influence.
Yeah, of course. So if we can move it then maybe back to your potential role as Chancellor at Oxford here and talk about one of your primary roles, or what one of your primary roles would be, which would be to secure funding. Now, without going into specifics, often where Oxford and other universities get their funding is a big topic of controversy. So I suppose I would ask you where your ethical limits are for where Oxford would be getting its money.
Give me an example of a line that you think might have been crossed or could be crossed.
Oh, I wouldn't like to speak about anything specific, but I know often, for example, with specific billionaires around the world or with specific conflicts going on, often there are universities in America, for example, also which take funding from specific places.
Let me give you a straight answer.
Let me give
you a straight answer.
Yeah.
No strings.
No strings.
No strings.
So to clarify, so long as there are no strings, you would be happy taking money from essentially anyone without ethical limits.
First of all, it wouldn't be me who's taking
Oxford,
the money.
of course,
it's
where
Oxford,
you're getting
Oxford
it.
has so many, hoops and hurdles to go through and cross before people's money is accepted, quite rightly. But the important thing is that if we are importing American scale or levels of philanthropy, that we're not also importing at the same time certain elements or aspects of American behavior concerning philanthropy to universities, where we know that donors, benefactors have tried on occasions to exercise an influence over university policies. Recently, you've had a great commotion for reasons that we fully understand over Gaza, for example. And you had boards of benefactors in American universities weighing in very heavily with their views on that. Now, that's not a system that we're going to incorporate into our university. Our university's policies are made by our university officers, our vice chancellor in particular, our university council, not by boards of benefactors. Nor do we accept influence over admissions policies to colleges and any attempt being made to influence those by benefactors. We don't have that here. And so we have to be very careful in advancing philanthropy that we make sure that we retain the independence, standards, integrity of the university. And I feel quite passionately about that, so that when some people throw around, I'm just going to sort of haul in billions of dollars and, I'm going to employ this great sort of McKinsey, whatever, to, throw the doors and windows of the university open to all comers. We need philanthropy, but we do not need certain aspects or elements or features of American behavior associated with that philanthropy, which has been damaging to an extent to those American universities standing. So we want the philanthropy. It does have to grow, but we have to maintain the standards of the university, and I feel that quite strongly.
Want your head and hair to feel cool and clean? Been going to extreme measures to cool your head off? Then get yourself a Manscaped. Don't be like Ollie and take your scalp from zero to hero with the new Scalp Buffer now. Use the discount code LOAF to get your 20% off.
So
the chancellor, vice chancellor, the university, do you think there's maybe a moral aspect to it as well when it comes to accepting money?
Moral in the sense of...
In the sense of, for example, let's say hypothetically Russia were to offer £1 million to the university, would that just be a straight up no? Or a Russian individual of high power?
I think it'd be very difficult to see the circumstances in which somebody, flew in from Russia and offered to write a check for £1 million, and we'd just simply embrace it.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
And we've got to be careful also about accepting money from individuals where there is a state influence over those individuals. So we do not want state influence coming into the university through the back door via individual donations. So we've got to be careful, but the university is already very scrupulous and very careful about this, and those standards have got to be maintained. I'm not following trails laid by my political opponents in various newspapers.
Do you think that the fact that you've seemingly consistently associated with maybe people who have been labeled as problematic is coincidental?
There is no secret or mystery about anything to do with any Russian oligarch in my professional or private life.
So long as there are no strings, you would be happy taking money from anyone without ethical limits. No strings.
No strings. I think that what students are interested in is the future of the university.